Imagine a world where you can't go outside of your house without stepping on a piece of plastic trash. Imagine that you go to the beach, but you can't go in the ocean because of the amount of trash floating in the water. Many people have the mentality that because littering has happened for so long already and will most likely continue to happen, that means that it's not our responsibility to do something about it. But that's just not the case. Today, I will be discussing the problem of how careless littering from humans is destroying our oceans and the habitats within them, and talking with you all about how recycling can help solve this problem. After researching plastic pollution and recycling and seeing firsthand the amount of littering and trash in my own community, I come to you today with the hopes that after hearing my speech, you'll make the conscious choice and effort to recycle more and more each and every day. So let's first talk about how big the problem of plastic pollution is. According to an engineering professor at the University of Georgia, as of 2015, there was anywhere between 5.3 and 14 million tons of plastic entering our oceans each year. Plastic was first created in the 1950s, and since then there's about 9.2 billion tons of it on Earth. And 6.3 billion tons of this never makes it to a recycling bin, according to Laura Parker, author of the cover story Plastic for National Geographic in 2018. She explains that because of the alarming rate that it enters our oceans, it could take anywhere between 450 years to never for it all to biodegrade. Josephine Campbell, in her article, Plastic Pollution, that she wrote for Salem Press's Encyclopedia of Science, explains that because plastic is a polymer, it's used in nearly everything that we make, and because of this, it pollutes nearly every place on Earth, even places that humans don't typically inhabit. She also explains that because it's made from a synthetic material, that means it can last for thousands of years inside of our landfills, oceans, and inside of animals that ingest it. Campbell also discusses the Pacific Garbage Patch in the North Pacific Ocean, which was discovered in 1997, which is basically what it sounds, a swirling patch of garbage that floats on top of the ocean water. Over time, these plastics become what's known as microplastics, which can look as simple as cloudy water, but there's actually 1.9 billion bits of it floating in our ocean and killing the animals that ingest it, thinking that it's food. Studies in 2015 found that half of the world's sea turtles, up to 90% of all seabirds, and over 700 different marine species have all ingested plastic trash, according to Campbell. And because of this, the animals are dying at alarming rates. So now that we've looked at the problem, let's turn our attention to a solution. Surveys of Americans reveal that 94% support, 74% say it should be a priority, but only 34% of the nation will actually recycle, according to Alex Truelove, author of It's America's Recycle Day from 2018. Recycling has virtually all benefits and no negative consequences, which is why it should be used to help solve the plastic pollution problem. According to Greening Forward, in their article Recycling Facts, which is a website dedicated to environmental issues, recycling directly affects our environment because making products from recycled goods versus brand new goods uses less energy, so less waste is ultimately created as a result. They point out that using recycled paper and not generating it from new materials produces 74% less air pollution and uses 50% less water, which means recycling just 1 ton of paper could save 17 mature trees, 7,000 gallons of water, and 3 cubic yards of landfill space. Greening Forward also states that by recycling, we are helping ourselves because our landfill sites are filling up at alarming rates. Landfill sites are the places where our trash goes after it's collected from the curb. And these sites create many harmful chemicals and greenhouse gas emissions which are harming our planet, especially because our population continues to grow, which means so does the amount of trash, which means so does the amount of pollution. Renee Cho, in her article, What Happens to All That Plastic from 2012, explains how a 2011 report from Earth Institute's Earth Engineering Center reported that the amount of plastic sitting in an average landfill is equal to 48 million tons of coal and 180 million barrels of oil. So if all this plastic was to be converted into, let's say, liquid fuel, it would produce up to 5.7 billion gallons of gasoline, which could power up to 8.9 million cars. So now that we've looked at the problem and the solution, let's turn our attention to how each of us can make a difference. There are 3 steps to the recycling process, the 3 R's, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle. Most of us probably learned these in school as kids, but many of us don't apply them. Reducing means to limit the amount of plastic materials you use, and reusing means to either reuse materials until you no longer can, like plastic silverware, or buying products from recycled materials. The Environmental Protection Agency states that ways to reduce and reuse include buying any used item of any kind, buying reusable, not disposable products, and buying products in bulk. They say benefits include saving energy, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and allowing products to be used to their fullest extent. After trying to reduce and reuse, the last step is to recycle any and all plastic products that you can. It's easy to find. Just flip the container over and look for the triangle symbol. When in stores, make sure you look for products labeled recycled content product or post-consumer product, because that means not only is it recyclable, but it's also made from recycled materials, according to the Environmental Protection Agency's article, Recycling Basics from 2019. They also remind us that by recycling any products you can, you will help reduce what enters the landfills, you will help conserve natural resources such as water and oil, and you will prevent unnecessary pollution. Plus, you'll feel good knowing you're making a difference. So today we have looked at the growing problem of plastic pollution in our world, specifically in our oceans, and we've discussed how recycling can help solve that problem for the long term. But what I want you all to remember is that if we want our kids and grandkids and their kids and grandkids to grow up in a world where plastic pollution isn't affecting their health, environment, and everyday life, we all need to do our part every day now to make sure we save the planet by recycling.